The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On May 14th and 15th, the StarCityGames.com Open Series comes to Orlando, and this event is going to be huge. We're talking hundreds of players, over $14,000 in cash prizes, at least 18 players qualified for their choice of either StarCityGames.com invitationals, live coverage all day courtesy of SCG Live, tons of side events, and as much Magic the Gathering as we can pack into one weekend. So make plans to join StarCityGames.com in Orlando, and we'll see you there.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. This is our complete new Phyrexia Set Review with Brad Nelson. Brad Nelson is here with me. We're going to talk about sets. All right, so today we're going to go over the white cards, which is going to be awesome. And our first card out for new Phyrexia is Apostle's Blessing, some combat trick.
It's an interesting one. Not a lot of cards in Scars of Mirrodin Limited do what it does, and I like that the Phyrexian mana lets you cast it out of any deck, so it's like a sideboard card to stop like a bomb that you can't deal with, like a Volation Reigns, and
yeah,
it's a pretty sweet card.
I think it's nice. It's just like they've worked really hard, I think, at making Phyrexian mana sort of combat tricks or things that impact the board that can just come out of nowhere. Like your blue-red deck is just going to destroy someone with Apostle's Blessing.
Oh yeah, and it even magnifies because there wasn't so many combat tricks back in just Scars and Besieged to where like you could Untame Might and kill someone, but you never wanted to use it on a creature.
Yeah.
But now there's just so many tricks, and they come from all these different colors, and they just come out of nowhere, and it's awesome.
It's nice. Ariok Survivors is next. Obviously sort of a limited card. 6 mana for a 4/6. But, you know, you return an equipment card, like if you're returning like a bomb living weapon, you know, like a Batterskull, or maybe like even if it's a Skin Wing, like I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you get back the living weapons, and sometimes you'll get a mediocre equipment that someone's dealt with that, you know, just died for some reason. But
Order Shield or something.
The getting up at 6-7 mana for limited cards, they have to do something really good, and you're gonna have the bombs. But like, speaking of bombs, I really like Blade Splicer.
Woo, card so bad. This is the card where I was like, I called it last week, and I was like, I love this card. I'm really excited about it, and everyone started calling me a dirtle, and I'm like, really got like I've learned the Spectral Procession lesson. Like you get more than what you pay for. It's probably a pretty good card.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't cost triple white. It's 4 power. You know, it still beats Jace a little bit, you know.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Sometimes you're left with a 1/1, but still, if they used a -1 counter, then, you know, you have the option of attacking now.
And I like how this card goes both ways. You can have Honor the Pure, and it gets bonuses. You can have Tempered Still, and it gets bonuses. You know? So it fits both themes of depending on what deck you want to build with them.
Wow. Tempered Still makes a 5/5. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cathedral Membrane, I think, is another card that's going to fit in non-white decks and do some damage to all the dinosaurs. Dinosaur boom booms.
Oh yeah, dinosaurs are always a big problem for white decks. You have to race them, but if you can't deal with them, and then you have to try to get Metalcraft, which he helps you with. He takes all the big guys down, and yeah, he can just go into your like non-white deck if you really need something like this as an early drop. And
absolutely,
it's pretty sweet.
Now, Chancellor of the Annex is next, and I have heard Magic players who are more seasoned than myself be excited about this card, and I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't want to be showing a 7-drop on turn 1 just to slow the game down a little bit. And like once he comes into play, he just like doesn't stop all the action. Like Ione is an angel, almost the same casting cost, and it stops the game. You know, you're not casting your spells anymore. And
like, oh snap, my Jace costs 5. Like, man, you got me. Like, what? But speaking of a card that I'm really excited about, Dispatch is going to do scary things to the Tempered Steel deck. Holy cow!
Yeah, it's amazing because I've been playing Scars and Besieged Limited or Block Constructed, and the decks always have this push and pull of trying to get enough artifacts in the deck that are good, but then also get enough good spells so the deck doesn't suck with the bad artifact guys. But now you have all the good artifact guys, so now you can just run your Dispatches and your Tempered Stills, and I just feel that the next couple weeks until I get used to this card, I'm going to be like getting Dispatched, then grabbing my deck and searching for a land, and then be like, oh yeah, that doesn't work anymore.
Oops. The next card up is Do Respect, and I like this card just because like I like the flavor of it. It's like, you know, like permanents enter the battlefield tap this turn. That's sort of a nice little hoser. I don't think it's actually going to impact constructed, but it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. I mean, I think if somebody casts that against me in Limited, I'm going to be like, okay, you sure? Put your land into play tap, say go, you know, like, I don't really get the card, but I mean, it could be a lot of fun. Like,
I mean, I'm thinking like, you know, if you're sort of have alpha on the board and you do respect them during their upkeep and they're an empty board, they wouldn't lose. But then you're like, wouldn't I just have won anyway if that happened, right? So Elish Norn is up next, and I've spoken about her a little bit, and basically over time I think she's gotten a lot better. She's really grown on me.
Over time?
Well, I mean, like, at first I was like, well, she's 7 mana. I'm like, is she as good as a Titan? Maybe, you know, like, depends. And then, like, you're like, well, okay, she can basically just wipe the board of a Naya deck or whatever, or a green one aggro deck instantly.
I mean, it wipes the board of a lot of cards. Like,
A lot of Hawks.
a lot of Hawks, a lot of Grave Titans,
Stone
a lot of
Fortress.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, the Titans are like the only creatures in Standard right now that survive this guy. He comes down and it's game over.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very scary card, and it's always staying on the board, and all your creatures get more power, and
It blocks Titans.
your Gideons are 8/8s.
Woo!
I know.
Oh, sick 8/8 Gideons. Oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm just, I'm a big fan of her, and I've, just sort of over time, like, it's one of those where I'm real skeptical. Like, if it's not smack you upside the head good like the Titans are, and it's over 6 mana, I'm just like,
That's true. I think,
eh.
I mean, if we're going to see a theme today,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of 7s, and I think Magic's changed a little bit, and I think you're going to see these high-end curve cards actually start mattering once Mr. Jason the Mind Sculptor gets,
Does-
out of our way.
Yeah. Something happens to him, Hex Parasite kills him or whatever.
Yeah.
But Exclusion Ritual is next. This is interesting. Like, this is sort of they wanted to a griefer card in that, like, not only am I getting rid of this, you're never going to be able to play it again.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is an interesting answer to Gideon, but I think Gideon's probably a better answer to Gideon. Does that make sense?
I do put Gideons in a lot of decks that don't need them, just to deal with them. Green-white aggro decks with, like, 4 Gideons in the sideboard.
Seal of Gideon, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just have to beat that card. Force Worship is neat. Like, it's a combat trick. Or, I mean, it's a, it's a sort of an arrest, essentially, right?
I love these kind of cards, though, because if you're a defensive deck and limited, you can just throw your removal spells out there, like, stop the bleeding, use some Phyrexian mana now, because, you've dealt with it, and then later on you just get to kill something else, Now I can deal with that 3/3, but that 6/6 is scaring me.
So he can't attack right now.
Yeah.
Like, they can block, but whatever. Like, it's cool. I'll deal with that.
I'm not attacking anyway.
Exactly into that thing. Inquisitor Exarch is next, and this is an interesting card for me because it's a white creature making the other player lose life, which is sort of weird. It's a very weird card. It's a very Phyrexian card, as you would say. Otherwise, it's just a dork.
He's just a dork, and I think he might see a little bit of play. He does give white something that they don't really have, and that's reach. Get him down to 2 life or 4 life. Well, now if I top deck 2 of these cards, I actually kill you, which that's the thing that Red has always scared the game with.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to take any damage because they're going to be able to draw into burn spells.
And then just kill you off the top.
Yeah. Now white actually can do that.
That's nice. Lost Leonin is a card that I just think is going to mess up with limited decks because they've skewed where Infect goes, and this guy is so good when you compared him to other ones. But 2 mana 4/1, quote unquote, is pretty decent. But ultimately, I don't know if it's actually going to get there.
I feel with this set we're going to, win 1 game with poison and 1 game with damage. I think that's where I think that's what's going to happen is because Wizards is all about the Phyrexian are slowly taking over this planet, and it's slowly people think it's screwing up limited, but I think it's actually that's what limited is becoming. Is we're just going to have this big mesh of infect and non-infect and wars, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards in here that sort of ride both lines. There's the green card we'll get to later that gets +1/+1 for each infect counter. Loxodon Convert, he's a 4/2 for 4 mana.
And they just flipped. I forgot what the other one was.
Oh yeah, there was one, wasn't there? The other Loxodon in Scars.
Yeah.
I recall. Marrow Shards is here. Another card that will fit into non-white decks, no problem. And I don't know is actually going to wreck people. There's not a lot of X1s in limited that
or even constructed. They're all X1s until they attack, and then they're like 4/5s and 5/5s.
God, and I'm scared. Master Splicer though is quite the follow-up to Blade Splicer. At the very least in limited, maybe not in constructed, but turn 3 Blade, turn 4 Master,
Yeah, no,
you're looking at some damage there.
These golem creatures are really good, and the white ones seem so undercosted compared.
They push the white ones,
Yeah.
no doubt about it, and that guy leads the way. Norn's Annex, though, I'm really excited about. It's a propaganda effect, and they haven't printed one in a long time. Ghostly Prison, Kamigawa Block,
I have a big problem with this card.
Yeah.
Is if you're defensive and they're aggressive, and you're playing this card, you couldn't just pay 2 life to ignore the ability. like with propaganda.
Sure.
Your opponent can just, all right, I'll take 2, you take 3, and they're the one that's racing you. So I wish that this card wasn't they could pay 2 without paying the
2 life, like they have to pay white or like 2 colorless or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean,
essentially, actually propaganda, ghostly prison, what have you. Like
you're forced to pay the 2.
Yeah, I would actually been. I mean, I would have been more excited about this card had it been just straight up ghostly prison with Phyrexia mana costs or whatever. That would have been nice. But like, I get why they did it. They're trying to sort of theme out the entire set with this Phyrexia mana, but like at the same time, it is making it less powerful because they can just be like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I mean, 2 life for my goblin guy.
I'll pay 10 and kill you.
Now, Phyrexian Unlife is just awesome because of the Malira combo for me. Like, that we'll get to later, but like Malira, Sylvok, Outcast just gives us the soft lock.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna have to deal with that sometime. I'm just gonna go to like F&M one week and want to play some Magic, and then that's gonna happen, and it's gonna take me like how many turns to get out of it, but I'm just gonna be like,
just looking at that jam and going, yep, you're untouchable now, thanks. Porcelain Legionnaire, I think, is one of the best red cards in the set. It's just like, isn't that card ridiculous?
I mean, if Tempered Steel wasn't out there, I would say this isn't a white card.
Wow.
But it's just, you play turn 2, you play like your artifact creature's turn.
So you play like Hex Parasite, Porcelain Legionnaire.
Don't forget a Memnite. Just throw a
Memnite while you're at it, right? While you're at it, Tempered Steel, get ya.
I mean, it's big on its own. It takes a removal spell. It's not dying in combat for a very long time.
Wow.
And then if it just gets the pump, then
for some reason, like the first time I looked at this card, like I just missed First Strike on it, and I was just like, this card's really good. And I was like, whoa, this card's crazy good. Yeah, First Strike? Wow, that's nice. If you're still Paladin, though, like...
I love this card.
Oh my god, is this card just going to destroy?
I love not having to spend mana to equip equipment, and I just get to slide it around, do whatever I want with it. And I really like cards like this. They do things that nothing else in the game does, and just being able to just move it around and be quick about it. Argentum armor, like
it's gonna be so good. Like really, we needed more reasons to say Stoneforge Mystic is amazing. That's what we needed in the game right now. Remember the Fallen. I like how you can choose one or both. That's my sort of favorite part of this card. It's nice that they give you both, so you can still sort of 2 for 1 out of this one card. It's gonna be really good and limited.
Oh yeah, every card that they've given you that option has been amazing since Hull Breach.
Yeah,
like it will see limited play. It might even see a little bit of block or standard play. I really like the card.
Yeah, it's really good. Now, Sensor Splicer is not the most pushed creature. Obviously, it's the common one, not the uncommon or rare ones that they really pushed. But it makes it 3/3, and they got vigilance, and that's cool.
4 power for 5 mana. That's fair.
That's standard.
That's a common.
Yeah. Shattered Angel is interesting as a white card again. Well, not sure. I actually thought this was lose 3 life instead of gain 3 life.
Well, that would have been
absurd. Yeah, but whenever a land enters their control, you gain, like, that seems good.
Seems really good, but the problem I have with this card is the picture. That thing looks like it's scary. I don't think of it gaining life. I think of it really hurting me.
I think it's going to scare the life out of you and not actually provide it, which is one thing. But yeah, I mean, if you play this on turn 5 and they're on 4, you're on the play, like, feel free to play lands so I can, like, outrace you and choose flies.
Good thing half my deck is Infect, right?
Fair. All right. That does balance it out just a little bit. Now, speaking of, Shriek Raptor comes in as a 5 mana 2/3 flying Infect. That guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's got the defense to where it's going to be able to, like, block a lot of guys. There's a lot of 2/4s or 2Xs in the set, and he can survive the non-infect ones. Yeah. And then he just gets in the air. I think there's a lot of 3 damage, like cards that deal 3 damage, so he won't be broken. But I think he's just a good way to get some more white infect flying out there, so we have a lot of, like, Tine Strike damage.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, for me, like, if you want to pay 2 more mana for Assist Bear, like, sounds good. I mean, Assist Bear is great. A couple more mana to make it flies, even better. Suture Priest, I think, can actually see constructive play. Because whenever you have an effect like this, and for example, Dan Barrett broke out the Phyrexian Metamorph with Leonin Relic Order, and you can just blink it in 1,000,000 times.
Oh.
Because Metamorph's artifact, and a million life. Go.
We need more infinite life combos.
Don't we?
Yeah, we don't have enough of them.
And finally, War Report, which is a pretty marginal card. I don't really see this impacting either format of any sort, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't like cards that just gain me life. You don't. Sometimes when you get the cards played against you, and you're like, okay, now you're at 36, and now I have to spend 10 more turns, but they never get the job done.
Yeah, I mean they're always sort of like they make you feel better at the time, and then they'll just like, okay, well, one more turn of smashing you.
Yeah, you have 20 more life. I have one more card in play, and that'll deal that 20 damage.
Pretty much by itself. So, what would you say your favorite cards from White are at this point to wrap this up?
I gotta go with the Splicer.
Good old Splicer.
I think he's going to cause a lot of damage, and I like that he's just one white, so he can go in other colors.
Yeah.
Like Stoneforge into him.
Yeah.
Seems like a great play.
Yeah.
I mean, Stoneforge into extra land drop.
Whee! It's pretty good. But, I mean, Blade Splicer into something like a Bushwhacker,
Oh, wow.
I would love to do that, for example, for 5 mana, which is always
Johnny.
good.
Why can't a Johnny come back now?
Hey, a Johnny, turn 3 or turn 4 a Johnny, counters
Using that
get
for
you.
6?
Would love it.
Tempered Steel, then Honor the Pure?
Cake, eat it. Yeah. I think Porcelain Legionnaire is sort of my second favorite. That card, I think, can really get there. I mean, once you look at Tempered Steel, you're like, wow, that card is absurd. I'll go to 18. There's 5U first strike.
There's a Black Pro Tour coming up, and I'm looking at that. I wanna attack with guys. I mean, like guys.
When you look at Dispatch and you look at cards like Legionnaire, I mean, you can't ignore the power that they're going to be sort of unleashing. So anyway, that was our White review. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll be back shortly with the Blue review.
Always like the fatties.